There you
Oh,
are.
my darling.
Hi.
It's
Let me
about
tell you,
time. You
it's
said
been
I
a
drink
long
more lives.
time. It's been a long time. You look so
It has.
pretty.
Oh, shucks. Thank
You're so
you. How are
pretty.
you? Oh, my God.
How are you? Good to see you.
Same. I feel like I should have a laptop. Hmm. You look
Why?
so serious.
No, it's it's only because I've been working and I kind of just finished work and then started doing this. So
Oh, the
don't know,
life.
but it's Friday evening. You need to be chill and feeling nice.
I'm actually from doing wifey duties. So I'm like, let me finish cooking, then come.
Do you know, I keep forgetting you're a wife, to be honest.
I
I need
am.
to
A
I
whole
need
one.
to
A whole
remember.
wife. A whole
How's your
one.
week been?
Tiring. I'm
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be working,
Yep,
but I
yep.
told myself, no, it's
You
never
need to
that
catch
serious.
you need to catch
Yeah,
your
I'm just
break.
I've made fries, so I'm going to eat fries
Oh, I
and
love
watch
fry.
a
I love
series.
warus. Oh, you're doing Friday right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely doing
And then because we
Friday
are
right.
fasting, I'm gonna have eggs because you can't eat meat.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
understand.
it's Lent. Then watch a series till morning. Okay, I hope so. Yeah.
Nowadays,
Then
do you know
I
what?
can hustle in the morning.
Nowadays I can't stay up past like 10 p.m. I say I'm
Me,
going to watch a movie like that and then poof, I'm out. I'm gone,
it's
gone, gone.
me too. Every Friday. And you? How are you doing?
I'm alright.
Mm-hmm.
Working, lifing, nothing. Yeah, it's been a long day today. I've been working. I'm hoping actually, I was going to tell you that I know it's Friday evening, so I'm hoping to keep this short and sweet so you can eat fries
Watch a
and
series.
prosper and
Yeah,
prosper.
don't worry, don't worry. I have time though. I'm home alone, so it's okay. It's Friday. So I have time. I have time.
So I start. I'll give you. I mean, first of all, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me.
You're
Couldn't
welcome.
I couldn't have thought of anyone else to ease into it with.
Oh.
Okay, well, you know this, and I'm going to say it, so it's a matter of public record that I'm a big fan of yours and what you're doing with life generally, but specifically in this context of Femibag.
Thank you,
I
Kyoko.
think it's fantastic. I think it's revolutionary. Do you know? Because when I was in Kenya, I got a bunch of them, and then I showed my mom, and I explained it to her, and her mind was blown, and she was like, "Oh my God, how has no one else ever thought about this?" And I was like, "Right."
I've been wondering
So
the same. I'm like, wait, what? All these years,
yeah,
people
absolutely. No,
have menstruated for so many years, and I'm like, hiya, okay, sawa. There's also actually someone else's mom who was like, why didn't we have this in our days? Like,
exactly.
why didn't we
So
have it?
let's back up a little bit, and for the purpose of anyone who might have been
Yeah.
living under a rock and who does not know what you're talking about, maybe you could tell us about Femibag in like 2 sentences.
Okay, sawa.
Or as
So,
many sentences as you want, actually. It's
as
Friday
me,
evening. Go for it.
so first and foremost, I'm Brenda Kirote, founder of Femibag. Femibag is in the sanitation and health industry. We manufacture and distribute sanitary towel disposal bags, and they are eco-friendly. And one of the features that I wanted it to have is it has a seal. So actually, let me
Yes,
get
sure.
one. Yeah.
Totally. I've seen that Nandi Naholi has joined, and I've actually been thinking about her today and saying that you two should absolutely meet. And so I'm
Oh,
glad
really?
she's there. Yeah. She does something
Okay.
phenomenal as well. And I think
One.
both of you should totally become friends.
Okay. So this is Femibag. Actually, I've just seen where we started.
Show us.
This is
Show us.
where we started. So these are the boxes that we had initially. And I remember showing it to a marketer, like when we were starting off, and she was just like, sis, this is not gonna appeal to no one. And especially to the niche, because it's a niche product. They're not gonna buy that. Then you can see, like I did my own, I was a graphic designer. Oh, I designed everything. I had what is called, what's the name of that cartoon? Anyway, this cartoon that has this thing, I cannot remember the name. I designed everything. And then this is how the bags look like. They were so rough. so rough. We stayed up all night with Brian trying to fix like this thing inside. I had just come from River Road, like our journey. Anyway, so here we are. This is done professionally. I really like it, the branding and stuff. But then these are the bags that I was talking about. So these are the bags, and I really needed them to have this seal part of it. I felt like it was very important because, I mean, sometimes you go to bathrooms and there are no dustbins, literally no dustbins.
Oh
Actually,
yeah.
today I used a
Some-
bathroom
yeah.
and it's a ladies' bathroom and it had no dustbin. I was just like, what if I was on my menses,
Why?
you know?
Actually,
Yeah, so at least with this, put in your pad, seal it, put it in the handbag, and I mean, you just throw it in the next bin that you find, even in town or wherever. No one would know. So that was very important for us, and more so because most of us live in apartments, unlike our parents who probably had the luxury of land, you know. They're able to get space and stuff. Most of us live in apartments, and the bins that we have are the kitchen bins. So the kitchen bins act as a household bin, and you can imagine on that day when you're on your menses and you're just throwing in your tampon wrapped in tissue or newspaper, and it's in the bin, and you have a brother or two and your father, and they just also need to throw something and they're just seeing blood. I was just like,
that's an interesting point that you make, because one of the things I actually wanted to talk to you about was period stigma, right? And why is it? Because I realized as I was thinking about the conversation that you and I were going to have, that one of the things we struggle with, or I personally struggle with, is when you're in your period and you want to throw something, you think about, you know, on top of crumbs and buckets and feeling like you want to eat the world. Why is it that you have to think, you know, what if someone says it, right? And it's not like, I mean, everyone knows that women get their period and stuff like that. So, I mean, I won't ask you why you think we have period stigma, because, you know, patriarchy and years of that stuff could keep us here all evening. But do you think, or rather, was it part of your plan, or was it part of your dream that at least having something like Femibag also contributes to the end of, you know, kind of period stigma and stuff like that? Or do you, and I've seen how you talk about this stuff as well. And I think for me personally, it makes me braver to talk about periods and period hygiene and stuff like that.
So I've mentioned it before that the reason why, or rather how it started, is I've been in a long distance relationship for 5 years. And
I keep telling you, you make me brave.
Yeah, so we did it for 5 years, and I think one of those years that we made it like super official, I was just like, oh, let me go visit my boyfriend. Unfortunately, I didn't check my calendar, so I got my periods in his house, and this was the first time I was sharing a bathroom with someone, and especially a man, and I was so confused. So I had to sit him down and I'd be like, okay, listen, babe, I need a small bucket and it will be mine. Please don't open it. Please respect me. Don't look in that. And it was so stressful. So I was like, wait, hold up. Because for so long then I've had the privilege of having my own bathroom. So it didn't really bother me. But I was so confused. And then his brother was also in the same house. And I was just like, and then I asked him, where is your dustbin? Where's the main dustbin? He was like, in the kitchen. I was just like, So yeah, so it was one of those things, like, and I noticed also, even when you're still married, there's still the stigma. This is the one person who's your best friend, but you're just like, okay, babes, please, like, if you guys love showering together, I'd be like, no. This week I'm off duty, or you know, so you're just like, I've gone through so much hassle before getting this period, like everything aches in my body. The last thing, disposal should be like the last thing on your mind, or should bother you. And for such a long time, because I love using tampons, the best way for me, because I couldn't think of using tissue paper. I'd just flush down the
Oh
drain
wow,
and
that's a
just
very that's a brave admission. But yeah,
oh
I hear
yeah,
you.
I was just
I
like
do. I hear you.
everyone will judge me, but I was just like, what's the easiest way to get rid of them? Flush them, and just pray that they don't block the sewage system. But I heard the other day my mom telling me they had to get a plumber for my toilet. I was just like, I know why, but I was just like, what other way? There's no polythene bags. There's small black bags. I don't know if everyone has them in their country, but at least in Kenya we had them. Really saved lives. And in school at Strathmore, we used to be given those black bags. So once polythene was banned, which was actually a great thing. I mean, then we didn't have a solution. And I was watching the other day, I was watching Over 25, not the other day, but they're also talking about periods and stuff. And they're saying how, like for Jules, one of the members, literally has to sit down at the beginning of the month with newspaper and cut them into how many pieces? I can't remember how many pieces, but just enough for her menstrual flow. And I'm like, it's the 21st
that much
century.
of a hassle.
It
Absolutely.
should not. It's the 21st
Absolutely.
century, So, and then other than that, I was doing my research this week actually, and I was reading that a lot of women in the rural, because one of the things that I'm struggling with is this is a niche product, but I really want it to be for everyone. And they were saying how even girls who, I like in the rural, some of them don't attend school because one of the ways of disposing for them is throwing them in the pit latrine. However, that's not even safe because most of the pads that we use have 90% plastic. So the plastic stays in the soil for 99 years. So for those who don't have pit latrines, they choose not to go to school because they don't want to think of the hassle of disposing their pads, and they're being shamed by the boys. Because how will you carry your pad around without anything? So I'm really working towards having this distributed mass. Let's struggle with things that we don't know how to figure out, like period pains and cramps and such things, and the boobs being so soft and tender. Let us not think about it, but things that I think we can sort out, let's figure them out. So I hope somehow this ends, period, and then we can all go for sleepovers now. It doesn't matter if you're on your periods or not, like, you know what. And then one of the other things, visiting friends, even not a sleepover, just visiting friends, which is just like, it's such a hassle. Like, you have to time, like during your change, like I've just changed and then I can go for like a game night, because it's just like, how will I dispose in someone else's house? And this might be like your best of friends, so it's a hassle.
I think actually we need a whole other session to just talk through period shame and period stigma, and because it shouldn't be the case that people have to feel ashamed. It shouldn't be the case that young girls have to be shamed, etc. And I know that there are people and organizations doing a lot of work to try and counter period stigma, etc. So I think we should definitely get into that conversation and just start brainstorming ideas about how to counter that. So you've talked to us a little bit about how you started and when you were coming up with product etc. I know from talking to you in different forums and just listening and reading stuff you've been writing as well, that there was also the government part of it, right? Because you have to. So tell us a little bit about that, because maybe someone wants to start something and government of Kenya has demands. And how was the experience like?
Okay, so when did we? 2016, 2017. So I have no idea where to start, where to stop, where to, So I luckily just bumped into some website, and they said how they're in Kikuyu, but it was really shady. Like, that website was so shady. So when I was driving, I was just like, I'm just hoping that, and I'm just like, this is Kikuyu, uko ndani. Like, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna be safe. So we get there, we design the bags, they're proper, Then he tells me, you will need NEM approval. I'm like, oh, okay. But then he was like, we've done this before. Don't get stressed. It will be fine. We go to NEMA, they're like, okay, sawa. I mean, first of all, you don't know anyone. So by the time you even figure out the right office to go to, write a letter, it takes months. It took so many months. And then only for me to go there and they say, because it has a bit of polythene, it can't go through. And I was just like, there are people. So they said, actually, what that lady told me is, you need to figure out then of a way to remove the polythene. So after guys have used it, figure a way of removing them from the environment. And I came to later learn it's because they'll stop you as a small business owner from doing the manufacture because they are unable, because that's the work of the city council. So city council, when they get garbage, they should ideally first separate food and then, I mean, the sanitary towels and stuff, so that they put it in the incinerator and continue the work and then dispose of the rest. But because it's not working, the best way for them to control polythene then is from stopping anyone from starting a business. And then now that stopped and I stalled and I continued with life and I was just like, what else do I do? And I have a friend called Tessie who really, really pushed me and she was not having any of these. So I had to go back. And then luckily, the person who manufactures for me the boxes was like, maybe we can figure out a bag for you somehow. Something that is environmental friendly and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, sawa. So we did it. And it was good. And then I went to do marketing because I wanted to put it up on different platforms. And then this lady was like, no, we need KEBS approval. I was like, okay, sawa. Go to KEBS, start the process. First they say, no, this is not possible. I know you're giving a solution, but this is not a solution because it's full on paper. So there's a bit of it's not leakage. It's I've done this research and also on a few friends. So on your heaviest of days, and not all days, heaviest of days, when you put a tampon in, what it will do, it will just draw the outline of the tampon. So just a stain. Yeah, it just stains a little. So the KEBS are like, no, we can't give you approval because, I mean, you're not solving any problem, you're still causing a problem because now we have stained things, we have things that are absorbent. So I was like, so what will you guys then test it using a tampon with actual blood? They're like, nope, we'll use water. So if you use water, I know blood is 90% water, but I feel like it has a difference because if you use a tampon with water, this thing will tear. It's different when it has blood. Oh, like, okay, sawa. Then now we can't even put ourselves on the shelves. We can't be anywhere. So I'm just like, what is this? So I go back to the manufacturer. I'm like, I can't continue. I think I need to. And this is when did we launch? In October. So we had done a soft launch. We had done a launch, but now I needed this. One of our targets is to have it on the shelves. So in November, December, thereabout, I go back and I'm like, it's not making sense. You know what? Cancel this order. I don't think I'll be able to do any other. And he was like, hold up. What do you mean? If anything, if KEBS is to look for anyone, it's not you, it's us. Because you're not packaging anything here. It's someone else who's going to package something. So what standard are they looking for? They're looking for the standard for paper. Already they've given us an approval that our paper is good condition. So they should not bother you. I mean, unless you had pads inside, then you'd be looking for standard for the pads. You are just getting our paper, which is already approved. I'm like, people are just here somewhere just like a small monanchi too. Just like, I'm just trying to figure it out and solve a problem. And I was so happy when I got that news. So the two bodies have really stressed me. And then now there's a social media tax that I need to figure out how we're gonna go about it. I mean, we sell mostly on social media, so you need to figure that out. But mostly those two bodies are the ones that have really stressed me. But here we are, surviving.
But I'm happy, one, that you had TC, because I think we all need that person who tells you that you can't get this brilliant idea, just not, you have to keep pushing. It's also, I mean, we keep hearing and reading stories every other day on social media of how government bodies keep frustrating people who are just trying to start a business, you know. And personally, I'm proud of you, and I'm happy that you pushed. But I also hope that we can get to a point in the near future where people don't have to worry about unnecessary bureaucracy, and, you know, people can just start doing their things. Okay, so you know, you deal with the design and you figure out a design, and you deal with cabs and you figure cabs out, and then you start, but then, you know, the world kind of stops because there's a pandemic and everyone is literally just starting to stay alive. So what's that been like for you? And I know one of my friends actually has been telling me to stop asking people how they're doing, that it's an offensive question in this time. But genuinely, right? How was that experience, and what kept you together? What kept you together?
Luckily, we were born during a pandemic, so we don't know anything other than a pandemic.
True, actually. That is true. Which, I mean, also that, okay, that's a good point. So, what made you brave enough to actually, you know, bust this thing in a pandemic? And then, what was that experience like?
First of all, Tessie wouldn't allow me not to start.
I like Tessie.
So she wouldn't allow me not to start. But I think because I had already put in so much money even before, it had gotten to a point, and now it's not. When it's your own money, it pains in a different way. At first I was using my folks, but now this is my own. I was just like, you know what, liwalo. It has to work. It's
all in or nothing.
But it's been really tough. I think I shared something on my social media today that I was looking. We have weekly meetings, and this week the person who's in charge of my offline business to customers was telling us how February has been our toughest month, and that's when we went not hardest, but we had a whole campaign around Valentine and stuff. This is the month that we've had the lowest sales. And I mean, first of all, people have been using pads and tampons all their lives. They know how to dispose it. So it's not a product that you can't live without. Yeah. So
for someone who started using it, like maybe 3 months ago when I came to Kenya, I'm just like, what was my life like before this, right? So I think honestly, once you start, you're just like, what was I doing before this, right? And then it becomes something of an essential. And I'll tell you this, that I bought a bunch and went back with, and I'll probably be asking you in a couple of months, what do I do? They're over. How do I get some more? So, I mean, I think the thing is, how do you get more people to start using them so that people realize how helpful and how essential and how much easier they make your life?
But I was trying to say something.
Sorry, interrupt.
So the idea of we had a couple of repeat customers, yes, which is amazing. But most people, before they can, but I'm still trying to like study the human behavior, because I follow a couple of pages that sell clothes. They sell off immediately, they post, and it's in the middle of the night. But still, I'm trying to still learn that. So getting sales has been really hard, and then also because income has been tight for everyone. So even us going hard on advertising, us getting what is called, like, influencers, there's so much you'd want to do, but then the budget is also quite tight. And even if you do like work like other types, like you just look for extra income, even for them, even getting paid. So just like, it's such a strain everywhere. But I understand, like, for the human person, like, the buying sugar probably or paying rent is more important than me buying Femibag. So that has been really hard. Like, we just need the economy to open up. I don't know how, because also we need to be safe. We
Yeah,
need to,
it's a tight,
yeah.
it's a tight balance. But would you say that there are ways in which launching during a pandemic has changed how you do business, or are there things that you think could have your approach would have been different if the world was just open and free?
Open and free. Um, well, luckily now, I mean, because I was listening to the radio the other day and they're saying how most businesses, no, actually, I was listening to APSA had a live yesterday, and they're saying how most businesses that didn't go online during the pandemic then didn't survive it. And as we started, I mean, through being online, I'm feeling, would we have done it differently? I mean, there'd been more income, there'd been a bit more in our pockets, so would have done a bit more, like, would have gone really hard. Like, I hear of places that I want to stock up, and then they tell me I need to have 300K. I'm just like, yo, I need 300,000 atakama ni chai. You know, I'm just like, hey,
oh wait, 300,000 in what?
300,000 Kenya shillings for me to stock up with them. Imagine.
But make it make sense, though. Make it make sense.
A huge supermarket in Nairobi. I was just like,
oh my God, this country keeps breaking your heart.
So I'm not so if the world was, and then also the social gatherings, because we did K1 market and the turnout was really horrible, because also there's a cap to how many people they can have. So we didn't do as well as we hoped. I mean, there are no people, we're not allowed to gather. It's not being allowed, but I mean, the pandemic doesn't allow us to gather. So you're unable also to put yourself out there. Yeah, and many people are not doing outside as much. So yeah,
and even
you can't put yourself out there.
Those who are outsiding, like the K1 flea market is a good example, because the numbers are controlled and stuff like that. But I'm hopeful really that the pandemic is going to be figured out, that the world is slowly starting to roll out vaccines and stuff. So hopefully even us, it gets to us, and that helps. So I think a lot as well about the guts to start a business, and for you it's to start something very niche. And I know a lot of people struggle with some sort of crippling fear, and then everyone who started a business tells you, yeah, you just have to start, right? Just start, and then everything, right? Just start. So I mean, and you started, which is a fantastic thing. What would you say, or what do you think is some of the feedback that you've received to date that has made you the happiest, that has kind of reinforced for you that you're on the right track? What are some of the things that have happened along the way that you've been like, yeah, this gives me strength to keep doing this thing?
Betty, being here, yo. I was just telling, yesterday I was telling your husband how, imekuwa ngumu, and then I have employees and I'm feeding them off. I mean, the business is not able to pay them and stuff. I'm feeding them through my own salary and stuff. So I'm just like, hey, it makes sense. It makes sense. So getting such recognition, honestly, is everything. And I think next week, but one, I'll be in Kisumu. I've been invited to be on a panel, to just speak to people, and it's like, as in it's, yeah, we're doing something. We're actually doing something,
100%, yes.
So such things, and then like yesterday, one of the clients that we want to approach are the very high-end hotels, so that we provide them with a sanitary towel. So yesterday I was just busy DMing people, and I was just like, this is how men feel when they're sliding. I was like, in your DM, yo. I was like, okay, Lord, today I've listened to gospel music. I've just prayed before this DM. I'm just like, may I get a response? And I got a response from a very high-end hotel, chain of hotels, in 10 minutes. And I was like, I got home. I was just like, excuse me, who's here to listen to me? We got a DM. Such
That's
small
amazing.
things, such small things like really make me feel we're doing something, and it's been so much love. And actually this week, this February there's been so much. Sales have been the lowest, anyhow, but on the other side, we've gotten the most recognition. And what else has really made me happy? Getting repeat clients. People have really accepted, like, we've been very lucky to work with people with huge numbers, and they didn't ask us for money. They're like, yeah, it's okay, like, just drop us your package.
Yeah. But I
God
think
bless
that's what
those
happens.
souls.
That's what happens when you're doing, something that people can see is actually adding value to people's lives. Oh, that's fantastic. So the other thing I'd really want to know is, what are maybe some things 1, 2, 3, 10 that you wish you knew before you started, or like they have come in the form of maybe tough lessons, something you think that if someone else knew before they started, it might save them money, heartache, stress, lack of sleep.
How expensive it can get. I honestly didn't think running it, and it's because honestly I can't do everything, and I've come to accept it. And I've just had to, one, I'm not in Nairobi, so I've had to get someone there to do the distribution, because that's necessary. I cannot run my socials, that's not my strength. I had to get someone for that, and I cannot do without them. And I didn't think that. I think when I was doing my math, like, my math was not mathing. Later on, I was like, and how it's very tiring as well. And in your brain, the other thing that I'd want someone, if they want to start a business, to tell them is, you might come up with a product that you think is amazing, but not everyone will see it that way. Because the number of times we have written to a few people, some big shots, I was just like, wow, we really, really kissed us. But still, it does not. I was like, it for them, it doesn't make sense. So how expensive it can get, how sometimes it's the emotional bit of it that can really dampen you and dampen your spirit. What else? Ideally for me, those two have been hard lessons, really hard lessons. Yeah.
I must tell you that I had a very fantastic experience with the person who's doing your distribution. So they were amazing. They were efficient. They communicated so well, and it was just. And they were sending it. I was in Machakos, and they were sending it all the way to Machakos, and they did a fantastic job. So at least
thank
through
you.
it all, I think you're ending up with a solid team.
Yeah.
So what's a big dream? What's a big, if God called you tonight and told you, I'm giving you everything you want, tell me so what's the big dream here?
Lord, first and foremost, I want a machine. So we were having a Monday meeting, and I was telling the team, I want this, and I was even doing like a business proposal and really changing it. I don't want it to sound like we're doing, other than the inconvenience that we are trying to solve, we're also trying to solve a bigger problem, a bigger global problem, which is, one of them is marine pollution, and it's on the rise, and it's a concern. And the idea for me is, or the plan for me is, to be able to manufacture pads that are cotton, biodegradable, and have them have these bags. So they will be inside this bag. So once you buy your pads, that you already have your disposal. So you have good quality pads and you have disposal solution already. That is the idea that I want. And
All under one roof.
all under one roof. So you buy your pads and you're done. Like you don't need to think about anything else. And honestly, I want more so for the girls who are in the rural areas. I know now menstrual cups and the washable panties are on the rise, but still pads are one of the major products that they use, and I want them to get good quality products, and I want it to be at subsidized prices, extremely subsidized prices, and we're giving them good quality. And even for the rest of the market, once I want us to start there, and then now we can come and so have it on the shelves. I mean, people should not be giving us half-baked goods. We should have something, one thing under, like, one, all under one roof, like Nakumat. So you have your pads, you dispose it, you figure it out, and you move on. So that's the idea, Betty. We are trying to see if you can do that by the end of the year. I'm really pushing. That's the work I have for the first quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that you're talking about production of good quality pads, because I mean, we all know, all people who use pads know that we always get the short end of the quality of pads, a lot of the quality of pads in our market. So if you use pads you've bought in Kenya and maybe some you bought in Europe, there's a distinct difference a lot of times. And
tell us please.
No, you can't even with brands, like the same brand. So if you buy brand A in Kenya and then you go to like London and buy the same brand, a lot of times it's different, right? And the Kenyan one always feels a bit more synthetic, like it's bunny. And like we've been saying, on top of all other problems that period come with, the quality of pads should not be one of them. So I really like the idea of good quality cotton pads. And then, if you buy it and you don't have to buy the disposable thing, the disposing thing separately, it makes it easier. And I suppose then you have to start thinking about stuff like how to make it affordable, so that
because
in the rural
good
areas
quality
can access it.
I was looking at the cotton pads we have, and the cheapest is 400 shillings. I'm like, this does not make sense.
Yeah,
I can't buy pads 8 pieces at 400 shillings. No.
And
It is our right.
Sometimes every 21
month,
days.
I did not. If you have 21 days,
exactly. Sometimes it doesn't
that means you need to twice.
21 days, and you bleed for 7 days of those 21. So your life is just a concert.
So that means
it can be crazy.
On the 1st of whatever month it is to the 7th, you're bleeding, and then on the 21st again to the 28th. So twice in a month, and you tell me to spend. Will I pay rent? Will I buy food? So then we don't have an option but to take what is in the market, and it's so unfortunate. It is unfortunate. Yeah. So that's the idea. It is a huge idea. I think about it and that's like, the plan was not to go that huge, but
it's very attainable. And at least I started this live by giving a disclaimer that I'm a total fangirl of yours. So as I continue to fangirl throughout this thing, people know that I've already given a disclaimer. So I was going to say that it is a big idea, but if there's anyone I know who could, carry it and execute it and give us good quality sanitary towels, it's definitely you. And then, once we start doing that, we also start to look at how to lobby for more favorable laws around menstrual periods and education to lessen the stigma of it, and accessibility all around. So I mean, I feel like my week has ended on a very nice note, right? Because
me too. That's really nice.
Because this is such a it's such a soul fulfilling conversation, because
thank you.
On top of Brenda, the person who started the business, it also gives us insight as to just how it's a very personal process, like born from something very personal. So there's a time I posted it on my Instagram, and someone asked me if they were biodegradable, or Are they plastic though? And I remember feeling very nice typing back and being like,
No, they're
excuse
not.
me, they're not. They're not. So actually,
100%.
my favorite thing
100%.
about the product is that it's not plastic, and the seal thing, right? The fact that I can just put it and seal it and put it away and forget about it even if I'm not home, personally, it makes me absolutely.
We actually want to make them even better. So the idea for the material that we wanted to use was like the chips one or the nyama one or whatever. The one that is
the brown
it's
one?
glossy. No.
Oh, glossy.
The one that
Okay.
is glossy inside. Then that is full on biodegradable, and it's also full on absorbent. Non-absorbent, what I mean. Yeah, non-absorbent. So that would be amazing if you can get. It's just that in Kenya, and for such a long time we couldn't like communicate with China and stuff like that. We couldn't get things into the country. So we're like, you know what, let's just start with what we can, what we have, then as we go by we can improve. So one of the challenges has also been like language barrier. I mean, like from the Chinese people, because I keep on texting them and they can't receive video calls and videos and stuff. I'm just like, but I need things from your country, you know. So how can we help each other?
What do we do?
Yeah, what do we do? And then now I hear the shipping costs have doubled. But the idea is also, as much as we have this, now we take it to the next level and have the gloss, and then that will be, you know what, even for anyone who has heavy periods and they use tampons all through and through, then I mean it's not a problem for them. Yeah, but I'm really happy with where we are.
You should be. You totally should be. You should be proud as well. You should be very proud of what you've managed to do so far.
And thank you so much for this platform, Betty. Oh, this
You know,
was my first avenue, and we've really grown.
so we'll
Yeah.
come back. We'll come back maybe in a year or so, and you know we'll do some
Oh.
talk take, and then we'll be doing it. You know, so
I
that
think
when
I'll
you start,
tell you. Can you
so that when you
talk to
start
my
signing,
PA? I don't know if
you
I
know
have time.
exactly when you start signing autographs and I take call you and my call go through. I'm like, excuse me.
Do you know who I am? I'm Betty.
Yeah, you're like
Betty. But yeah, I'd love for us to come back here after 1 year. I'm really hoping we'll be able to attain our goals. But you know what? For a very long time, so I follow a lot of over 25, and they're saying how they had a video on entrepreneurship, and I watched it, and I was really like, honestly, other than when we have weekly meetings, I'm not putting my best foot forward with this business. And I told myself, girl, same way I tell myself, if Beyonce is still working out, who are you? Who are you? And I was just like, I mean, big brands, the owners are sleeping, you know, I don't know at what time, working hard. I was just like, it's about time. And honestly, now I'm giving my all. The last time I was telling my best friend who's here, Bomboi,
I see her.
the last time I put in as much effort as now is when I was studying for my KCPE. And honestly, I can bet that if we come back here after 1 year, and I owe all the 13 people who are here, that we'll be somewhere different. We'll probably be doing factory tour. Amen, Lord. Amen.
Yes,
Yeah.
from our lips to God's ears.
Yeah. And then also now the dream, like, you know, future is to start manufacturing by ourselves.
Yes.
Get a factory, Ukomacha or somewhere. Yeah. We manufacture
and start doing the thing.
We employ people. We empower more people than ourselves. That's the goal.
Absolutely. And it's going to happen. So the last like 5-6 minutes, give or take, we're going to consider them as having been a prayer session, so that everything you said comes to pass. And I know you're a hard worker, so all of it is going to, you know, go exceedingly well.
Thank you,
so,
Betty.
I wanted a chat. You know, most of it just to fulfill my fangirl, the fangirl bit of me. And so thank you so much. I think this has been amazing. I've also learned a thing or two that I didn't know about Femibag through the process. We're going to continue rooting for you. Personally, I'm rooting for you a lot. And may it all come together so that, you know, you create employment, you empower other girls. So it also gives us an avenue and a reason to keep talking loudly about periods, because that's how we reduce period stigma and stuff.
Yeah, it's become more than me. It's more than me. And on days that I want to quit, I'm just like, I can't. I have people who feed from it.
There you go.
I have people who want to buy this next month. So honestly, I can't be selfish and close. It's not me anymore. It's not about me anymore. And yeah. And thank you so much.
Thank you. And thanks to everyone who came to hang out with us.
Yeah.
And
it was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So see you soon.
Should do this again.
We definitely should. I'll put down a note and we shall reconvene before factory and after factory.
Yes. Oh God, amen. Oh. Okay, that was scary. But anyway, yeah.
Thank you. Enjoy your fries.
You too. Oh, thanks. All the best with your work. I'm so sorry, Betty. So, bye.